Hello to my Cappies. Hello to my Capricorns. All right, Capricorns. Seems I had some concerns in the last video where I mentioned the movie The Devil's Advocate. There were some concerns with the title. There were a few people, usually y'all know I don't really address concerns. Y'all really know I don't really address them, but I will address this one. I will address this one because I want to make sure people know that it's all love, right? It's all love. We try to keep it high vibrational, so I will address it. There were some concerns. If you did not see the movie, there were some concerns, as I did mention a couple of celebrities by name, and I was speaking very highly of them. I do not speak of idolizing anybody, but I mentioned those celebrities and just how phenomenal their work is, but it was really in the spirit of people answering the call on their lives. It's really in the spirit of you all answering the call on your lives, just so we're crystal clear on this, because all my readings are you all, your sign ruling 10th house, right? And just the power of answering the call on your lives and how it actually helps people, right? So just so we're crystal clear, when you answer the call on your lives, operating in your north node, your 10th house or your north node, it will ruffle people's feathers. It will make people, feel some kind of way about you answering the call in your lives. As a matter of fact, it'll make some people believe that you have a different call on your life, right? So if you go back and watch that video, it may be some kind of confusing in part to some people, because if you didn't watch the movie, it'll kind of maybe give you the impression that we're talking about the devil and we're not necessarily giving energy to the devil. If you know what the devil means metaphysically, then you'll understand. Or if you watch the movie, and thank you to the person who actually watched the movie after you saw the video and you went, oh, now it makes sense, right? And then you added your comment, so you know who you are. Thank you very much for your comment and watching the video after. Watching the movie after you saw the video. And I wanted to say you added the person added 2 or 3 comments after you watched the video. And then also I think somebody else made a comment about the actors that I mentioned. So thank you for adding those comments. Or you know who you are, the person or people who have actually added the comments afterwards. And that's what it's supposed to be, thought invoking, like when you answer the call on your life, because every person has a purpose, here on planet Earth. And really it is, so when you answer the call in your life, you realize nobody has any competition. Your star is going to light up the sky to help everything on planet Earth, right? Every person on planet Earth. When you answer your call on your life, it's meant to help everybody, your family, your friends, people that you don't even know. It's going to help people that you don't even know when you answer the call in your life. And so, and you're inspired by people you've never even met. You are inspiring to people you've never even met. And you are inspiring and you are inspired by people you met and people you've never even met. That's the power of answering the call in your lives. I've never met a lot of celebrities and they inspire me. I don't have to know, and they're not my idols. I don't idolize human beings, but you can take something from people and go okay, I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired by their story. And I find I don't have to know their whole backstory to be inspired by that. So Yeah. Some of you all drop comments in my videos. I'm inspired by that. Do I need to know your whole backstory? No, I don't need to know your whole backstory to be inspired by that. So just simply say thank you for tuning into my channel. I need to know your whole backstory. No, I don't need to know. You don't need to know my whole backstory to be tuned into my channel. No. So we're inspiring each other. Let's get into your reading. Let's get right into your reading. Thank you for tuning in. This reading, you may be watching it on the 27th of March. We are officially in the new moon phase, even though technically the moon is in a waning crescent moon. The moon is in the Zodiac Sign Pisces. Pisces rules 12th house. That is the house of spirituality, addictions, psychic abilities, healing, solitude, endings, world service, secrets, and emotions. The way that you can look at when the house is in Pisces, and we're not talking about any Pisces that you know, because it rules 12th house, is look at it this way, because it's the last house in your birth chart. Look at it as like, because it's the moon card, and the moon has an affinity with water. Look at it as like the end of your day, whatever your day is. Doesn't matter what kind of shift you have, and your water could possibly be low, like your emotions could be low, and like you're winding down. How would you wind down? What was your secret to winding down at the end of your day? How would you fill back up? How would you replenish? What would that look like for you? What's your secret? So it connects us with secrets. It connects us with like psychic abilities. How would you gain clarity? The clairs, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, clairaudience, right? How would you heal solitude, right? So that could be a way of tapping in. For some people, it's taking a bath, right? Like where would you draw from? Sometimes you go back to like your ancestors, you remember. What would that be like? For you, for some people, it's kind of tapping back into a memory. What did you watch mom or dad do? Grandparents. Sometimes you remember them reading a book or knitting, or maybe pulling out the pedicure machine and putting their feet in, plugging the little machine into the wall and giving themselves a pedicure, or grabbing a sewing machine and sewing, or knitting, or baking, or cooking dinner, or maybe taking a nap, or something you remember them doing to kind of wind down. You can sort of liken it to that. What would be like the secret to you kind of winding down at the end of the day? You can kind of look at it like closing out a cycle, right? Kind of look at it that way. The new moon would be like the new you. Start looking at cycles like that. So if I'm gearing up for the new me, or you're looking at it like the new you, that was like preparation. If I'm gearing up for a new me, I need time to prepare for a new me, right? So I need to come out of one cycle, right? So I'm winding down, and so I need some time for that new me, right? So if we have 8 major moon phases within one cycle, and we think it technically like, well, almost like 8 hours of rest. Maybe you don't get 8 hours of rest, but we have 8 major moon, that number 8. So that number 8, we winding down. We want to let our body kind of sort of sync with just getting that rest, right? To get prepared for the next day. What would that look like? What would that look like? Let's get into it, okay? I know that was kind of lengthy, but what would that look like? What would that look like? Journaling, cooking, reading a book. Like, what would that look like for you, right? Closing out a cycle. Technically, on this Friday, on the 28th, Friday, March 28th, this cycle, this one closes. We're still in eclipse season, right? We have a new moon in Aries. Aries rules first house. That's Tower card. Aries is ruled by the Tower card. So that means everybody's having a Tower moment, an awakening. That's prayer warrior, total recall, right? On Saturday, right? You can start your prayers now. And meditation. What are you praying for? This new you, more assertive. Prayer and meditation, right? So let's get into it. All right. All right. Are you ready to read card? Let's get into it. High vibrations only. That's right. High vibrations only, right? That's a prayer. That's right. That's an intention that you're setting, right? Remember, free will. You have free will to set the intentions, the tone for every single day. High vibrations only. Thank you, Source, that you're surrounding me with energies that have high vibrations only. High vibrations only, right? That's not people that's not people who are pretending to be positive. That are the people who are choosing. That's a choice. That doesn't mean that the negative thoughts don't come. We're surrounded in a world where there is all kinds of stuff. Music, people are having conversations around you, whether it's sarcasm, shade, whatever is happening. But it is a choice. There's also frequency, energy around you. So people have real feelings, real emotions. You have real feelings and real emotions. You don't want to deny yourself of what emotions and feelings you have about things. And so you can't even express your emotions without somebody saying, oh, you being so negative about everything. And so you can't even express yourself without somebody saying, get away from me. That's not high vibrations. High vibrations only. High vibrations only. Like what? You can't even express yourself, right? So it is a choice to vibrate only. You want to be in spaces where you're safe, where you feel like they're safe to express yourself. And so remember, if you feel like your vibrations are lowering, you're filling back up on water, right? If you feel like overwhelmed and you feel like your vibrations are going low, water, that's your moon sign, right? You're filling your vibrations up. Getting out in the sun also cleanses you and fills you back up. You're also an earth sign, so maybe you need to go out and hug a tree. Maybe you need to go out and ground, right? Air is also a cleanser. Maybe you need to go out and get some fresh air. You're cleansing by air, right? Remember, you're also an earth sign. So even if you can't get outside, grounding, just being in solitude, just so that you can process your emotions. You're an earth sign. But also finding out what your moon sign is, right? Surrender. 470. Surrender. Release a problem. 4. So this pink right here is operating from your heart chakra, right? So heart chakra connects us with love, right? Air. So 4 is connecting us with the emperor. So this is adding structure, and emperor connects us with Aries. 7 connects us with chariot, and 0 connects us with foal, right? So somebody could be making a decision. 4 and 7 is 11. Somebody could be making a decision to get off the fence and stepping into becoming enlightening and closing out a cycle with an Aries. So that could be somebody closing out a cycle with an Aries or two, right? So it could so this could mean like you could be walking through pillars, two pillars to just close out a cycle. This right here. So surrendering, so releasing a problem. Your angels encourage you to surrender a present worry you have to them, meaning your angels. Whether you are confused, feeling out of control, or simply at loss for solutions, you could energetically release this issue to the divine. Put yourself into a full body stretch now. As you inhale, focus on breathing in support from your angels. As you exhale, focus on releasing control. High vibrations only. So you're really surrendering to the divine. Or when we say or when we say Aries, you could have Aries in your birth chart because Aries rules first house, right? Aries rules first house. Or an energy you are married to, married in business and or in love to, where you feel like there's just a lack of control there, or you may have felt like who is trying to control you in business or trying to control you in love, or you feel like somebody feels like it's their way or the highway, or there's constant conflict or constant fighting, or there's anger, or you feel like you're in survival mode, or there's constant competition. You know, like when you see pink or green, that's operating from heart space, where it just feels like there's betrayal. There feels like you can't make a connection there. It's the opposite of love. It's just it's the opposite of love, right? And so that's where you just surrender to love and you surrender to source. You surrender to source, right? And that's where that is where you're making a decision. That's when you're realizing, okay, the devil really is in the details. You're not calling a person the devil, because the devil, metaphysically is just, the carnal mind, feeling like there's a like almost like something you can't get beyond, something you cannot get beyond. So that's where you're surrendering to source. It's like, okay, I gotta high vibrations only. I'm not even pretending like, my water has gotten low in something. So it's something that you just feel like, okay, this is something that I really need source. I can't even deny I need source. I really need source. I can't do this in my flesh. I need source. So you're releasing something that has been a problem that you can't operate in. You need source. So you're at a loss for some solutions. All right, let's get into it. You want to vibrate on a high frequency. Let's get into it. Let's go. All right, let's go. So getting off the fence, closing out an issue, closing out high vibrations only. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, because like I said, you're closing out a cycle in love and a very number 11, because you're thinking about your future, right? Leaving behind a full card right here. Well, it's not a card, but this is a card, obviously. The 0, when you close out a cycle, something would just be a bad risk, right? For you to not close out a cycle, and you want to leave behind distractions, right? Definitely leaving behind distractions. Let's go. Yeah. You're closing out a cycle because I feel like what you have in common is that people are talking about you and somebody you love, like assassinating your character. Look at this bird right here, this, their mouth wide open, right? Assassinating characters. So, yeah, and you're on top of things. So you're on top of something. You're on top of something. Here we have the High Priestess, Light High Priestess. I feel like you have gone through a dark night of soul. Step into the light. So it looks like you're a Light High Priestess. You have high intuition. So here we have the King of Wands here. King of Wands here. All right. So you have some ideas. You have some ideas. You have some ideas about some things. It looks like here we have, I see you feeling like you're cool, calm, and collected here. You know, it looks like someone is thriving. It looks like what you have in common is like you and someone is thriving behind closed doors. That's what it looks like. And it looks like, so when we see Ace of Wands here, it looks like it looks like there's a divide here. It looks like there's a divide because fire divides things. Fire divides things. So here we have the Four of Pentacles here. It looks like you're trying to be conservative with your time. Looks like you're trying to be conservative with your time. So if you're trying to divide your time, you're trying to be conservative with your time. Here we have the Queen of Swords here. And again, whenever you see air energy, I'm seeing you being on your throne. Seeing you being on your throne and keeping things high vibrational. And trying to wake up from a nightmare. So trying to wake up from a nightmare, right? And some kind of a partnership. So trying to make a decision in some kind of a partnership. Some kind of partnership in business or partnership in love. I don't know who this would be for. Somebody either talking down to you or looking down at you or treating you less than or something. I hope that's not the case. But I feel like some kind of a partnership is either coming across your path in business or coming across your path in love. But somebody is focusing on being in no more dysfunctional relationships or partnerships I'm seeing here, which would be a good thing for you. But you're definitely not trying to go back to either not talking down to somebody or being disrespectful or thinking or something. Demonizing something. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody may be making somebody feel worthless. Somebody may have been saying something to somebody to make somebody feel worthless. Because I'm seeing this right here, Five of Pentacles right here. Somebody may have been saying something to make somebody feel worthless. I keep thinking about this Five of Wands here, and somebody saying that they have your back. Somebody said that they have your back in something and creating some kind of a divide. I'm going to pause the reading right here and say something for you all. So Capricorn, looking at this right here, the Seven of Swords here, because this is what you have in common with someone, right? As it relates to High Priestess gifts, right? And you being on top of something and releasing a problem and high vibrations only and all of this. I assume that whoever's watching this video here, whenever I see fire in videos, and I'm looking at Five of Pentacles and all of this and this here, Five of Pentacles speaks to a pick-me spirit. That's a person who because you're very close to something, like you're very close to stepping into another phase of your life. You're stepping into another phase of your life. Looks like someone's overthinking something. Looks like someone is overthinking something. I would say here, this right here is someone should really count their blessings. That's what this is. Count your blessings. Somebody is in High Priestess gifts is not man or woman. Everybody, actually, this is your intuition. Men and women have intuition. Men and women have intuition. This is a blessing to have intuition. Really is a blessing to have intuition, right? And the surrender really is the love. And source is love, right? All of this is all good. Your whole reading is all good. There is no divide. There really is no divide. This is all one person. Your divine masculine to your divine feminine. That's really all it is. And so this is no divide. You are King of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles. Right? So this right here is Chiron. This is knowing your worth and knowing your value here. This right here is having your own back. Right here. This is having your own back. This is a spirit that someone carries from their ancestors here. Yeah. Someone has the spirit of ancestors who has a very strong, quiet spirit that when people see you, their impression of you is a person who is in survival mode. This card comes out a lot for a lot of people. And this is first house. This is first house, right? So first house is Aries. First house, Aries rules first house, right? And we're coming up on a new moon in Aries. The first house is a house of personality, temperament, appearance, self-image, first impression, self-awareness, outlook on life, right? So somebody comes from a very strong prayer warrior. This is you and somebody share this in common, right? But you also embody fifth house energy. Fifth house energy is romantic, very creative, almost like this childlike spirit, fun, self-expression. You have hobbies and doing things that you like, what makes you feel good. Also embody that as well, like a playful spirit. But your stature, you may be tall. You may have tall parents, or at least one tall parent. Just like this person in the card. This could be a man or woman, by the way. But something about your stature is of a strong but quiet presence in a room. Y'all know what I'm saying, Capricorn. Some people, when they are in a room, whether they're standing or sitting, they just kind of have this strong, quiet presence um, in the room, that people have an idea about you, but they don't really know who you are. And that's what Ace of Wands is. It's an idea. They don't really know who you are. They just have some idea. They have an impression of who you are. Whether it's the right impression or the wrong impression, they have some impression of who you are, right? So they either look up at you or look down at you, right? Like this, right here, right? But it takes time for people. It takes time. And people either love you or they hate you. There's really no in between, right? Right? They either love you or they hate you. And there's no in between. They either love you or hate you, right? But either way, it's exposed. Either way, it's exposed. Right? So, and that's why somebody has gone through so many nightmares, because you either look at this as people assassinating you behind your back, or you don't care what people are saying about behind your back, because not everybody talking behind your back is a character assassination. Some people talking about you behind your back, they're speaking very highly of you behind your back. But you have enough information at this point to know whoever it is that you feel like you have enough information on, you have to know what their worth is too. But you have to know what your worth is, right? You have to know what your worth is. And this is Chiron. You do need to know the time of your birth is to know what your Chiron is. Not everybody knows their time of birth, and I know that because I read your comments. You need to know what your time of birth is. Yeah. So, again, this is a general reading. As you're closing out a cycle, you'll know, only person you can save is yourself from within. This right here. Some of you all moving forward have new love coming across your path. That's some of you all. This is like partnership, but it's a partnership, right? It's not a you coming to save somebody or they coming to save you. It's a partnership. Some of you all, like I said, energy is you are very mature, very down to earth. Like I said, the devil is in the details for you all. But somebody is definitely surrendering to love. But yeah, if you feel like that you have to save somebody, that's a problem that you're releasing within yourself. That's a karmic cycle within yourself that you're releasing. Yeah, you don't need somebody to have your back. If you feel like you gotta, if it's a person that you feel like you have to release, you'll be wasting your energy. That's a complete and total waste of your energy. Yeah, that's a waste of energy. If you feel like you got to make a phone call or go visit somebody, and I've been having all these talks, and I'm on top of it. Yeah, I've been talking and I've been watching and I've been hearing, and if you've been all of that, you've been wasting. That's a waste of energy. That's a waste of energy. That's a intentional divide. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a familiar spirit and a character assassination of somebody who could be thriving behind closed doors, and someone trying to create a nightmare for somebody. So here we have, somebody who could be just in hermit mode. This total miscommunication. Yeah, total miscommunication. These cards right here are ruled by the same planet. That's sending out the wrong message. Both of these cards right here are ruled by the messenger planet, Mercury. That sends out the total wrong message. Here we have the Three of Wands here. Yeah. Yeah, so if somebody feels like, so three of wands and Ace of Wands is Four of Wands. So that would be like somebody feeling like they gotta do some kind of homecoming, to like go home, to I got your back, you know, I'm right there with you, so we can have a conversation, we can have a talk about something, because you know people are assassinating our character based on what they're hearing and all that, and we need to have a talk because this such and such, whatever. We on top of it, and people are saying, people are familiar with such and such. If that's the case, you know, for somebody, because somebody would have had to gossip. I mean, if that's the case for somebody would have had to gossip and say something about something in the first place, right? Right. Here we have Four of Swords. Right. Right. Yeah, so here we have the World card. So something has been fulfilled. Something has been fulfilled. I feel like somebody is trying to create I feel like somebody is trying to create a tradition. You're trying to create a tradition, right? When I look at your cards here, somebody is incredibly smart. This is this here. Somebody's incredibly smart. Someone is... I want to say this kind of sort of speaks to the first quarter moon. The first quarter of these phases here. This speaks to the first quarter. This first quarter of these moon phases. Yeah, here's a Devil card. Yeah. So the Devil card came out twice. That's interesting. Yeah, so the Devil card came out twice. So yeah, something has been a here we have Page of Pentacles here. Yeah, somebody, yeah, looking at the cards here, somebody is very, very close to this whole new lease on life. But looking at your cards here, here we have the Eight of Swords here. Yeah. So somebody has been really, really wanting to get some rest. Looking at your cards, somebody has been really, really wanting to get some rest. Here we have the Ace of Pentacles, and do some kind of a new adventure. This is the Eight of Pentacles here. Somebody's been wanting to do something new. Looking at the cards here. And really surrender to love. Somebody's been wanting a whole new lease on life. And somebody's been wanting a breakthrough. Some new ideas or a job or new something. And somebody has a clear mind looking at something here. Queen of Cups is what somebody's been wanting. or maybe possibly wanting to cut ties with, somebody's been wanting to cut ties, looking at the cards here. Somebody want to close out a cycle. Here we have, yeah, somebody's been wanting to cut ties with something. And leave something behind, looking at your cards here. Yeah, whenever I see the Seven of Swords, I always want to put a positive spin on the Seven of Swords, because I know what booklets and stuff say, but when you think about high vibrations only, you got to think of it this way. In music, and when I say music, I'm just talking about, you could literally be stopping at a stop sign and somebody else's music could be playing. You could be just like blaring in the speakers in somebody else's songs, and out of their car, they could be listening to something. You can be in the grocery store. It could be something in the speakers in the grocery store. People could be having conversations talking about something. You really can't stop the vibration of what frequency other people are on. So, or you see this book, Auras. You really don't know what auric layer, for other people. So that's why you want to be mindful of all of that. Like what people are listening to, like what the algorithms, social media, all of that stuff. So, but you want to kind of train your ear that when you walk out of a room or a space, any space, when you leave other people's space, their heart space, because the head and heart can be tricky. We've heard all that. That it's not always, people are not always programmed to think and feel and say low vibrational things about people when you walk out the room, right? You're not always the topic of discussion. Sorry to break someone's or burst somebody's bubble, but that's not that's not always the case, right? Some people are really working hard to keep their vibrations high. So focus on yours, right? You focus on you staying awake from a nightmare, right? So you can get some rest. So that's what Source wants you to do. You're on top of a lot of things, and don't always, this is right here, both of these right here are ruled by Mercury. This right here, Hermit card, rules 6th house. This right here rules 3rd house. 6th house, 3rd house, but they're both ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules both of these zodiac signs differently, right? So you can receive very differently. You can receive communication very differently than people send out communications, right? Very differently. You can literally receive it very differently than how people send it out. So this is overthinking. That's somebody overthinking something. So yeah, that's what I see for you. That is what I see for you. But that's what I have for you in your cards. Like I said, I'm seeing a whole new lease on life for someone. And someone has learned how to save themselves. I see you closing out a cycle. I see that you have surrendered to love. You're able to leave the past behind. Someone is in their light high priestess energy. You're learning how to enforce. You're learning how to enforce boundaries, which is a really, really good thing for you. So congratulations to you in learning how to enforce boundaries. So work through your fears. Work through your fears. So Scorpio rules 8th house, and 8th house is a karmic cycles, right? So 8 is a money exchange number. So And we're talking about just knowing your worth and knowing your value. That's what money exchange number. That's all it is. It's just knowing your worth and knowing your values. And then dark side of 8 is, and I'm starting with the dark on purpose and then moving into the light. So, because someone is a light high priestess, and I'm talking to men and women, you've already gone through a dark night of the soul, meaning that you have either succumbed to passive and powerless behavior of not knowing your worth and knowing your value. This right here. And finding out your Chiron, right? Deep emotional wounds of maybe feeling left out, not knowing that you hold the key to your own vault door, knowing your worth or your value, getting to a point of being okay with not being invited into certain spaces, being okay whether you're invited or not invited into certain spaces. That would be dark night of the soul. Being enlightened, getting off the fence and stepping into your own light, enlightenment, right? And this new phase of life for you. Let's see. And then and just knowing and then breaking a karmic cycle. And then the other part is egotistical, materialistic, and what is it? Succumbing to passive and powerless behavior, or egotistical, materialistic, or forceful, almost like forcing your way in. Like, I just got to be a part of something, right? And then the light side of it, again, is knowing your worth. The light side is just knowing your worth, knowing that you have purpose. That is 10th house, and you all roll 10th house. 10th house is career, life goals, achievement, public image. That's the masculine side, divine masculine side, social status, fame, right? Again, that's what I was talking about, the movie, The Devil's Advocate I don't want to spoil the end part for people who haven't seen it. So thank you again for the person who watched it afterwards and said, oh, okay, I get it now. See, okay, that makes sense, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to spoil it for those of you who didn't see it, but you have been worthy to belong to love all along without any need to improve. In fact, you are love itself. So yeah, work through your fears. Work through your fears. So yeah, high vibrations only. So yeah, the world card is generational. It is generational. It is Saturn. It's an outer planet, and it is traditional. There are some people who search all around the world for love, and it actually resides within. It resides within. Yeah, it resides within. So you want to start your abundance planning. So that's what I'm seeing for somebody. So, so that's what I see for you all. I do see somebody really getting passionate about purpose, right? I think this is going to help fast track you all. I'm telling you, this is what's going to help fast track somebody, is operating in purpose. That's what you're getting ready to get excited about. You're getting ready to get excited about your future because you're going to start operating in purpose. Somebody is going to cut through all the other stuff, really operating in purpose. And this is what's going to cut through the heartbreak, the disappointment, all the other stuff. It's literally going to cut through all of the other stuff. The shedding, all of that. Who's the snake? Who wouldn't tell me steps 1 through 10? All of that. That's when it's going to feel like, oh my God, now I know the reason for this. Okay. Something is about to become very clear to you why you had to go through a dark night of the soul to become enlightened. That's what's going to make you get off the fence. 4 and 7 is 11. 11 going through the dark and step into the light. Those two pillars. That's going to help you to close out a cycle. That's what that moon is for, leaving behind all of that stuff, answering the call in your life. 1 and 8, 9, right? Somebody's going to go into hermit mode, right? So you can get your downloads. Go into hermit mode, into downloads, feeling like, okay, you have this whole new lease on life, getting your downloads. That is what I have for you. Yep, setting higher goals, working through your fears, whatever they may be, closing out cycles. That is what I have for you. Hopefully this has been helpful. Somebody's going to get delivered from people's opinions of you, what they've been saying, all of that. Yeah. I feel like somebody has some opportunities coming your way, investments. Again, I feel like somebody's really focusing on North Node now, like really focusing on North Nodes, really feeling like you have, this new lease on life. Something about feeling like you have this whole new lease on life now. Somebody's about to get real serious about, this new phase of life. That's what I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.